there should be no argument to blow it up. You just watched a team that had a top 5 NBA player in Kevin Durant have turmoil with Kyrie, kind of watch their puzzle pieces fall apart and what they saw happening for that roster when they tried to put it together. And they said, you know what? We're cashing out. We've got a top 3 player in the NBA. Before the deal, they had a roster loaded with shooters and talent greater than the Bulls could imagine. They have Claxton, who's still going to be a defensive player of the year run. And I would bet money that the Nets post Kyrie and KD trade are still going to be a better team than the Bulls because they had more shooters sitting on the bench not playing in tonight's game than the Bulls have on a healthy roster, even if Zoe is healthy.
I sent out a tweet 13 hours ago. It said Brooklyn is likely to drop out of the top 6 with this move. I still think that happens. Okay, I still think that happens, but I put even with a team dropping out of a guaranteed top 6 playoff spot, that doesn't ensure the Bulls get that seed. If that doesn't tell Acme something needs to change, I don't know what will. Well, now I bet he feels like a real dick.
Well, and then the teams in your same tier that were already above you in this particular season, the Knicks, the Hawks, and Toronto, all in the same little tier here, already better than you, except for probably Toronto.
They improved, though.
They all improved. They all went and did something to improve their roster and help fix what their issues are. And you just sat here and said the buyout market will be fine. No, shooters don't make it to the buyout market. Jay Crowder sat out all goddamn season and didn't get traded until last night in the last hours of the deadline.
Can we talk about how weird that is for 5 first-round picks is the new thing? That's what I mean. Is this fucking 2K?
No, we've no, second-round picks or nothing. They're Marko Simonovic.
They're monopoly money.
That's what they are. I mean, it is very rare that
you Marko Simonovic. Any chance you get to fucking hit that guy, you do.
They're Marko Simonovic.
So anyway, now that we got out of the fucking terrible Nets loss, let's go into the trade deadline. So I get to work. You know, the first thing I see when I wake up this morning is the Durant shit. I'm like, God damn. I mean, unbelievable, right? So monitoring everything all day. And I don't know if this, I don't know. I've had good interactions with this guy. I'm not going to talk any sort of smack about the guy or anything, but Sammy Hassan had put on there that the Bulls were talking to the Knicks, and source, a framework of a deal was being built around RJ Barrett. So then literally like 2-3 minutes later, Joe Colley comes out. He says that, you know, the Bulls are talking to the Knicks. His did not involve RJ Barrett. It was like Grimes, Rose, Toppin, Fournier, and those 3 first-round picks. As soon as that hit the fucking Twitter machine, I said, yes. I'm like, absolutely. Like, do that right now. This is where we live if we don't pick a lane. If you're not going to – what's so wild to me is I would have done that trade, by the way, just for Derrick Rose alone. So to everybody that gets mad at me about that, what's wild to me is they said, or Arturis said, that they were buyers and they didn't want to give up to get too much. Well, hold up a fucking second here. Where in your 26-29 record do you think that you're a buyer? Number one, on the outside looking in of the old format, you're in the play-in now, but of the old format,
what are you buying with?
What are you buying? But if you're a buyer, you needed to choose, and you needed to choose today on what lane you wanted to take. If you want to do it in the fucking offseason, then be my guest, whatever. And it just makes no sense. You're going to bring back Vooch because that's what you're confident about, but you should have done it today. That is the time that you had to do it, is to pick between DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine and use one of their values to bring somebody back that can actually help complement the other's game. That's what needed to happen if you wanted to be competitive. And what my mind needed to happen is I'm shipping all them motherfuckers out. Every one of them. Because I'm going to get all the value and all the picks back. I have to recoup something because you gave away all of our picks. So I have to do something because we're not competitive enough. So you either pick a lane with a star and you try to get another one with DeMar or Zach, or you tank it. Those are your two options. You blow it up or you retool. And he didn't do fucking either.
Well, no, the only names we were really linked to were finally Cam Reddish, the name that I was hoping we'd be linked to for a team that needs shooting. He was a cheap flyer that you could have taken. He was traded for Josh Hart with protected first to Portland. Reunite Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, kind of a cool story there. But other than that, the Bulls really weren't brought up. We've been linked to Westbrook. We've been linked to Wall in the buyout, which after a night where you only make 5 3-pointers and shoot 19%, I don't know that, you have an answer there. At this point, I don't think it really matters. I don't know if either one of those guys would want to come here.
I saw Will Barton might be a buyout candidate, but I mean, even Will Barton, what draft did he come out in? He came out in 2011 in the Marquise Teague draft when we took Remember Marquise Teague?
Yeah, I mean, not very well. I remember,
but that's because Barton went to Memphis, and Rosen went to Memphis, so that's who I wanted in that draft. But we took Marquise Teague instead of Barton. Obviously, he's bounced around quite a bit, but he could hit the 3 a bit. But I'm assuming he's going to go to a legitimate contender. See, that's the thing. A lot of these buyout market guys aren't going to want to come here because we are fucked.
Teams are only buying them out because they want to go to contenders, and that team would prefer to lose games for the Victor sweepstakes. So what guy is actually going to be like, you know what? Out of those 10, 15 teams that have interest in me for, a minimum service contract, like, do I want to go to Chicago? Yeah. Do I see, you see what's going on here? Like, why would you... I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's great to see that we're interested, but is that interest reciprocated? I don't feel that that's going to be the case with a lot of these guys. They'd rather go ride the bench and not get playing time and get a ring.
Even his demeanor today when Arturas did his little 4:45 p.m. conference, the guy looked like he has been serving as the president of the United States for the last 4 years. The stress that's on his face. It was unbelievable. The shortness in his answers. And I'm going to give a lot of credit. You know what a lot of people do in the Bulls community, which I'm not sure if you're aware of because I know you're in and out a lot of the Twitter world. But they hate on KC a lot. KC grilled that motherfucker right alongside Joe with some really, really good questions today. And I think Arturas got everything that he deserved.
KC a bootlicker?
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people constantly do. And I don't really agree with that so much. But
I mean, to a certain degree, to get as close with the team as you have to lick some boots. You got to kiss a little ass.
Well, I mean, he's already doing that to Jerry because he's employed by NBC. Doesn't Jerry have some stake in that shit or something like that? I mean, and this is it's a Jerry issue too because he's not going to pay into the luxury tax because he doesn't. This team's not competitive. The Bulls won't pay into the luxury tax unless the team is competitive and championship worthy.
We'll keep paying coaches to come in.
Yeah, we'll keep paying coaches. I mean, it's just wild to me, man. Like this whole day was wild to me. You watch Sadiq Bey, go to Atlanta. You watch Mo Bamba go for fucking cash, a second-round pick, and Patrick Beverley, who's going to be bought out. You see these trades take.
I get we're not the Lakers. I get we don't have LeBron. Teams don't have to do us favors to push a narrative. But the Lakers literally got D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt,
Malik Beasley,
and Mo Bamba for a protected first, Russell Westbrook's expiring contract, Patrick Beverley, and seconds. One protected first, one expiring contract. Granted, it is of a guy that was seen as the 6th man of the year candidate, but he's getting bought out. He got sent to a team that doesn't want him. Expiring salary, protected first, second-round picks, 4 needs filled. They have a completely new roster. LeBron didn't play tonight, but once that team is assembled, I expect the Lakers might actually be able to make a legitimate push.
I think they can
make the West playoffs.
I definitely think with how the West looks and how the standings are structured, if they play their fucking cards right, I mean, man, they added some talent.
Especially since LeBron's focus can now be on the season and winning.
They added some shooting and they added some defense and they added real rotational players that aren't like minimum guys. Like this is a big deal. That was a big move for the Lakers to do that. Yeah. The moves that other teams were able to finesse and make to improve themselves showed me everything that I needed to know today. Which is 2 things. One, I already know that the Bulls are not going to go into the luxury tax because the Reinsdorfs do not believe that this team can compete. Which they're right. And I hate to say that because my hatred for Jerry. Like I have a hatred for Jerry. I love that Jerry has owned my teams and I've gotten some championships and that's great and everything between the Sox and the Bulls.
And
Like,
that was kind of the issue in the offseason, though, too, is like, well, we talked about it. We knew that they weren't going to do it. But you almost had to give them the cop-out of, it's not a contending team. Why do you want to start racking up that luxury tax bill for a team that isn't a contender?
I mean, if they believed in it heavily, right, they would have done it. They haven't believed in it since the get-go. So that even poses the question now, even more so than ever.
Well, because
if you don't believe in it, what are you doing?
That's the other topic with the buyout market.
Do they really think John Wall is going to help them?
I mean, the John Wall situation is so bizarre. The fact that he's back on the Rockets.
He's already gone. He's already bought out. After all that shit he talked on the podcast.
There's no way that dude got on a plane and headed to Houston. No way.
No chance. No fucking chance.
But between what happened in Houston, which that situation at least made sense, the situation with the Clippers really blows my mind. Because you had talks of the Clippers, Westbrook. Like, they were going to buy out John Wall to pick up Westbrook on the buyout market if they didn't make the moves that they made. And that still could happen.
Hey, they added Bones Highland, and I know a lot of people like to talk shit about that kid, but hey, listen, he's a little spark plug off your bench. Clippers could use that. You could have used a primary ball handler like that, too. I mean, that's a big deal. They made some moves, too. The West literally took the power back from the East. They just came over and they just snatched talent and said, fuck you. Like, this is what we're doing.
No, that was a pretty quick change. To go from the East is stacked again. The East is...
It's like when we were kids again. The West took the power, Like, I mean, it's just what they did. It's unbelievable. Goose, I don't know, man. Like,
But even with that power shift, you don't feel any better as a Bulls fan.
No, because we're still fucking suck. We're still not going to break in. We're still not going to break into the shit. Like, it's just not going to happen. And it's really frustrating. That's all it is. It's really frustrating. They should be better than this. I think they should be better than this. Like, at least 7 seed better.